Hey guys, welcome to a brand new video. In this one we're going to be going over some extra information for Extinction that we have. We've already done a full trailer breakdown. If you guys want to watch that, I'll leave a link down below. But in this one, yes, of course, there's a ton of other information that's coming out in articles and whatnot, so we're going to be talking about all this. So guys, sit back, grab your Gallon kibble, hit the like button, and let's go. So far for this DLC, we have 4 creatures that are confirmed, 4 new creatures essentially. So the first of which is called the Enforcer. It's essentially a little robot type creature. It kind of slightly looks like a rock drake, except on a smaller scale. It can of course climb up walls, it can strafe, and it can do short little kind of teleports essentially. So you can teleport from where you are ahead of you, or I guess in a direction right in front of you. So you can see right here in this clip, the creature actually teleports over to a Giga and then starts attacking it with its arms. So that's how it attacks as well. Of course, it uses its giant robotic arm claws to hack away at creatures. And of course, this creature, we don't really know a huge amount about it besides all of that, but they have said that it will be obtainable. They're not sure if it's going to be tameable or craftable, so we might have to make it or tame it, and either way we're going to be able to get one of these guys and likely ride on the back of it, or else control it I guess remotely or something like that, because we're going to be talking about the drone, which is another creature, and that is actually controlled remotely. So maybe we might have something similar for this creature too, but it definitely looks really interesting. So here we have the second creature. This is called the Scout. I was just talking about that, except I do believe I just called it a drone. So this creature is actually remotely controlled using binoculars. So there's these tech binoculars that have been within the dev kit for years now, and we finally have a use for them, and they're to control this creature. So you use these binoculars and you can take control of this creature and fly it around to enemy locations to I guess spy on your enemies, or maybe even just bring it down to areas where you're not really comfortable bringing your character. But definitely interesting stuff. If you take a look at the creature, it doesn't really look like it has any I guess lasers or something. I don't even know. You can't really see anywhere where it might shoot lasers from, but it looks as if it has claws at the front here, and maybe you can use those to harvest resources, or maybe even pick things up, pick up small creatures. Definitely looks quite interesting. But this creature, or I guess is it even a creature? I'm not exactly sure. The Scout is going to be quite a small being. I'm trying to pick the words correctly, because I'm not sure if it's an actual creature or I guess a piece of equipment that you can just bring around. So you can use this thing around the map. It's quite small. You can see right here in this clip, of course, it is essentially communicating with the T-Rex, which is kind of cool. And yeah, it also has the eye plate. It's essentially the same crystal that we see all over the place through all this Extinction stuff, so that's really cool. Is this gonna be that main tameable creature that, or I guess whatever it is it gonna be that main creature that you're gonna have with you all the time? In Scorch you had your Jerboa, in Aberration you had your Light Pet. In this, will you have one of these guys? Is this what we're gonna need all the time? I guess we'll have to wait and see, but these concepts look really good. I mean, damn, I'm really excited for this guy. He's gonna be very similar to the tech attack drone. If you guys remember, there is an attack drone within the Overseer arena. It's this thing that flies around and it can shoot lasers. So I assume those are also gonna be on this map. So we might have several flying drones like this one. But yeah, it looks really cool, and especially the more refined concept up the top. As you can see down the bottom there was some previous little concept art, and then they refined it up the top a little bit more. But yeah, it looks really awesome. So this is the Gasbags. It is it's a creature that wasn't in the trailer, but I feel like it would have been amazing if it had been, considering its abilities, which we'll go over in a second. But first of all, let's just look at it, okay? So I just love it. It looks so amazing and adorable and just hilarious at the same time. It's got this tiny little face. It kind of looks like a chubby caterpillar, and honestly, it just does. It's got this tiny little face, these tiny little chubby arms, and this big bulky back. And essentially what this guy does is he is a pack mule. So you're going to be able to fill this guy up with all your resources, and then he can suck in a bunch of air, and you can ride on him like a balloon. he's gonna suck in a bunch of air, and you just hop on his back. I assume there's a saddle, and then he's just gonna fart you in the right direction pretty much, because he expels that air as he travels. So it's, instead of like a stamina within the air, he's gonna have like probably like an air stat or something like that. So I love the idea of it. I really wish this was in the trailer. I feel like everybody would have gotten like a good kick out of that, but I don't know. Like I don't know why they didn't include it. Maybe it's not completed. Maybe this is just the concept. Of course, we do have the like Mysterious Mysteries dossier thing for it, so we don't actually know if this thing will if this thing is actually like completed right now. So I would imagine he's probably not. Like, the main thing with Extinction's release for me is like, I feel like a lot of it is not complete. Like, they have some of the groundwork, a lot of the map done, but they probably don't have all the creatures done, considering the information that I've been reading. So yeah, this is the Gasbags. Kind of hilarious looking. So this is what is called a Titan. There's going to be several of these in the game, and they are essentially mini bosses. So these guys aren't like free roaming around the map as well. You have to actually go to them. They're in like little kind of dungeon areas, so you have to probably complete like a cave and then go on like an exploration or something to encounter one of these things. And they are tameable, which is very interesting because they are absolutely gigantic. I don't even know how you would actually have one of these guys because they are just so big. So, of course, we have this one here. This one is the snow biome one. He has like giant ice spikes on his back. He probably has some sort of like frost breath. He has these blue piercing eyes, but also he has corruption, which is the purple stuff on his chest. So he is corrupted. Maybe you have to clear the corruption before you can tame him, because in Extinction, creatures are going to get corrupted, and if they're corrupted, you cannot tame them. So maybe that's like part of the taming method, so it's probably going to be like really difficult because we have to, like, I guess completely cure him and then tame him. There's probably going to be some crazy method to it. Maybe you even have to kill him and then you can reclaim him or something. I don't exactly know. We'll have to wait and see though. These guys are just going to be ridiculous within the game. I feel like it's going to be a limited time tame considering the mass, like the sheer scale of these things. Like, its claw is like the size of a T-Rex, at least it seems that way. So we'll have to wait and see if you can actually keep these giant titans. But to complete the map, you actually have to conquer all these titans. I'm not sure if you have to actually tame them or kill them. I would assume you have to kill them, maybe you get an item. And to face the boss of Aberration, or, oh my god, it's not Aberration, it's Extinction. To face the boss of Extinction, you have to first face all of the titans in, I guess, combat and kill them, get the item, and then you can summon the final boss. So we'll have to wait and see exactly how all that stuff is done, but we'll figure all that out as soon as this DLC is released. But in terms of the boss, I actually have some information on her. So I do believe that the boss within Extinction is actually Helena, which is the original character that wrote all the dossiers. And she made it to this area, but we have no trace of her since then. There are a couple other characters that made it to this spot, but I kind of feel like she is the main boss. And we have some concept images of whoever this is. This might be Helena, this might not be Helena, but we do believe that this is probably either the boss or at least some sort of character that helps you out in some way, because she is talking to us right now through all of the Explore notes that are being released currently. So she is She Who Waits. I did a full video on all this the other day if you want to go check that out. There's more information over there, but I just thought I'd mention this really quickly in here. So this is actually kind of an interesting concept. This is a new item, I guess, within Extinction. This is called the item balloon. It's a way to like transport your storage across the map. So with this thing, you can actually fill up the chest and then set it on its way, and it will go back to your base. I assume there's some sort of like system to get it to go back to your base, because like how would it know where to go? That part doesn't really make sense to me, but yeah, you can fill these things up, they go back to your base, and it's a way of like transporting your resources. So I don't exactly know how useful this is going to be on like a PvP server, because you can also shoot these things down. So if you just see a balloon out in the distance, you could just shoot it down, and then like whatever somebody's collected and was sending back to their base is now yours. So I'm not exactly sure how much use people will get out of it, but I think it's a cool idea nonetheless. It looks like it's mostly made out of like hide, and then it says here about like some sort of like membrane gas sac, so that I guess keeps it afloat. So yeah, kind of interesting. It's got like a ground weight as well, so I assume there's gonna be like a proper like full concept for all of this pretty soon, but this is all we've got so far, and it's kind of hard to exactly figure out how it's gonna work, but yeah, that's all we got so far on this thing. So this is what is known as the Cryo Pod, which is extremely interesting. I really like the idea of this, but at the same time, on a PvP server, you're probably not gonna want to use this, because I'm about to tell you something. So first of all, let's start off by explaining what it does. So obviously this looks like a piece of tech. You can put creatures into here and it's gonna freeze them into like a ice cube type state, and you can carry your creatures around, so you can have a T-Rex in your pocket. It's amazing. So you can, like, I guess throw them down or something. It's pretty similar to, if you guys have played Ark, they have like this Pix block type state where you can put your creatures into a block form and then you can like throw them down whenever you need them, but you can put them back into your pocket when you don't need them. I assume that's gonna be like the same concept with Ark. I don't know, maybe Ark came up with this idea first and Ark just borrowed it. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, if you die and somebody takes the cube of your T-Rex, they now own your T-Rex, which I think for a lot of people, like, obviously the reward of being able to carry your T-Rex into a cave is really great, but I don't know if somebody wants to risk the fact that they might lose their T-Rex, who they love, to another tribe who has just killed them. I don't know. Not exactly sure about that one. I think it's a really cool idea though for PvE. PvE, this is gonna be fantastic. Like, I've always loved the idea of being able to like pick up your creatures. Like, we've used a couple pick up dino mods, and we've used like the Pokemon Pocket Balls mod. We've used things like that in the past, and I find it really interesting. Like, you're able to just like chuck down your Carno or your Rex or whatever whenever you need it. So now this is essentially going to be an Ark, and it's probably going to be pretty expensive to freeze them up, but I guess like the reward of being able to carry around a T-Rex in your pocket whenever you need him is going to be pretty handy. But obviously you don't want to get killed and for it to get stolen. And also I would assume that if you died, it's not gonna like pop out or anything like onto the ground and stay there. It would probably despawn. So yeah, that's another thing. And also these guys do not require food when they are in this frozen state, so that could be pretty useful for a lot of people if you don't have a huge amount of food for your creatures. So a very interesting concept for some new tech. I'm really interested to see what else they have to offer in terms of tech, because like we have quite a lot of tech tier stuff right now, but there can definitely be a lot more. I mean, like tech weapons, I would assume that there's gonna be a couple new tech weapons in this DLC. They have talked about the like a tech version of a bow, and I believe a tech shotgun at one point. So we'll have to wait and see if we actually get those things within this DLC, but I'd be really interested to see some of those concepts actually come to life. So, we don't have anything else to show you, but I do have some things to tell you. There's gonna be like these areas on the map where at certain points you're gonna be able to harvest a huge amount of element, but at the same time a bunch of corrupt creatures are heading to that area to harvest the element and I guess feed on it. So we're gonna have like this new mechanic within the game where there's gonna be like these spots at certain times, they're gonna open up, and if you were there, you can defend the area and keep the element after it's like ready or whatever, if you can survive waves upon waves of corrupted creatures. So we're essentially getting like Ark with a tower defense mode. So it's gonna obviously be some sort of area specifically on the map, probably several of them. You go there, you wait for the element to be ready, I guess, or whatever, and then you just sit there and just defend the area. So at the same time, you could run into like other tribes who are also trying to do the same thing, so you could either work together and split the payload, or you could, I guess, hop in there, kill them, and then also try to survive the hordes of these corrupted creatures. So definitely a really interesting concept. I think this is going to be fantastic for like PvP and PvE. I think like for both kind of game modes, it's gonna be really good. Like for PvP, it's gonna be a lot harder to get the payload, but like I think if you can survive that, you could probably You could probably like crowd yourself, pat yourself on the back a little bit. It's kind of like king of the hill at that point. Whoever holds the payload, I guess, for the longest time against the waves gets to keep it. So yeah, really cool concept. I think like obviously other games have things like this as well, but I think it's really nice to see it within Ark. So guys, I think that's pretty much it. Like there's nothing really else that I can show you or talk to you about. But if you guys have enjoyed the video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you guys want to see more like this, you can of course subscribe. I do have other videos on Extinction, go check them out, and I will see you next time.